What separates hobby from a real business? Why women start companies but struggle to grow them? And what it really takes to become financially independent. I'm Anna Maria, and this is Backstage Business by AM Film. Today we'll go inside Women's Economic Venture, an organization that helps women to go from idea to real business, from passion to revenue, from uncertainty to capital readiness. We'll go behind the scenes with Irene Kelly to see what financial skills actually impact your revenue and why watching YouTube videos is not enough. We'll sit down with Nikki Parr, CEO, and break down what it really takes for a business to become capital ready, what most women underestimate about entrepreneurship, and when founder must start to think as CEO. Watch this episode to the end to find out whether Weave will win cinematic promo video from AM Film for free. Will they pay a market price? Are you ready? Then let's roll! Hi! How are you?
Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you so much for having me at Vive.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I wanted to ask how Vive helps women who are thinking about business path or becoming independent financially, how you support them.
Well, we're here to support them in any step of their journey, whether you're just starting your journey towards financial education or you're a seasoned business owner. We're here providing a safe community for you where you can get education, tools, and support to find your own journey to success. We believe that every woman has already the power within to identify what success looks like for you, and we're here to provide tools and education along the way.
Can you share who are coming through these doors more often? Are these moms, founders, or career changers, and what stage they are at?
Absolutely. The answer would be all of the above. One of the things that I love the most about working at Weave is how often we receive people, not only women, 82% of our clients are women, but we welcome people of all gender identities. And it's beautiful to see people coming in all stages of their life. Women starting their financial education journey, and also women that are starting to consider opening a business, or women that are already in business. We also see women that are going through a transition in their lives and they want different tools to better take control of their money and plan for their future.
Yeah. Well, we are here now at your building. Would you take us a little tour inside?
Ooh, I would love to. Come with me.
Okay, let's go guys.
Here at Weave, we believe that financial empowerment, financial education is a social justice issue, and we should all have access to education that is guilt-free, shame-free, that really helps us navigate our relationship with money and get the tools to take control of money, because money works for us, not the other way around. So you can sign up for our free 3-hour financial empowerment class. We have it available online, in person, in English, in Spanish, and we also have it available as a self-study class. So it doesn't matter wherever you are in the world watching this video, you can take that class. And from there, we have other programming that is going to support you along the way. We also have a free credit builder course that is 6 weeks long, and you learn the basics of credit, the good and the bad, and how can you take control of your credit and use it to build the life that you want for yourself. And that course is one very exciting one because it includes 2 hours of free coaching.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yes. So take advantage of these opportunities because we are here for you and we are here to empower each other.
As we walk through this beautiful space, what specific financial and business skills do women learn here at Weave that impact their revenue directly?
Oh, well, first and foremost, people here learn how to take control of their numbers, how to navigate them in meaningful and intentional ways that connect with their overall business and personal financial goals. We also learn how to grow your business, whether that is leveraging online platforms, getting your business online, or whether that is bookkeeping skills that you can use not only for your business, but also for your personal life. So a lot of different skills connected to the entrepreneurial journey.
How would you describe Weave in 3 words?
Oh, equity, empowerment, and community.
Love it. What makes your education different from just watching videos on YouTube about business and financial independence?
Well, I do want to say that we do have a YouTube channel. Please subscribe so that you get access to a lot of our free webinars and education. But what I would say there is we are a one-stop shop, right? We have personalized programs that are very holistic in nature, where you can get access to not only classes, but also one-on-one support, one-on-one coaching, depending on what program you're in. That would be one very big difference in terms of just watching videos at home, which is really good. Focus on your education, however you get it, that's wonderful. Sometimes we need that extra support, and sometimes we need a community that has our backs, and that's when Weave really shines. We have a wonderful community with you included in that community, so we're just very grateful to have that support system around our own financial education journeys and entrepreneurial journeys.
Yeah. What I want to add is, like, I've been a part of Weave since 2022, and it's been the warmest community. But first of my clients actually came through this community. So if you're looking into some business journey or you want to be financially independent woman, this is definitely one of the courses you should sign up for. Yes. So tell me, why financial empowerment nowadays is so critical for a woman and how it impacts their financial independence?
I love that question. First and foremost, empowerment, if we think about it in the context of our financial life, it's beyond education, right?
Correct.
It's yes, getting the education we need so that we understand how the system works, but also thinking about how do we make sure that we feel confident and strong in our abilities to control our money and control our financial journey. That can be a journey on its own, that process, right?
100% there.
And in this economy, there was this recent research that showed that women are in average making 85% of what men make in terms of full-time work, and that number decreases for women of color and LGBTQ plus women, right? Latinas, I am Latina, and Latinas are making 58 cents on the dollar of what men make. Research again shows that it would take until 2088 to change that. I don't know about you, but I don't want to wait that long.
No.
We should not be waiting that long. Then the other thing is putting this in context with what's happening globally. Globally, it would take 137 years, not on our watch, to get to gender equity. And that's why it all starts within ourselves. It all starts with getting that education and that confidence, that empowerment, so that we can become financially independent, so that we can build that life and get that success in our own terms. That's how these topics connect. So financial empowerment is at the core.
You a little bit talk about it, but for women who do not speak English fluently, what options do you have for classes?
Well, first and foremost, we believe in the importance of language equity and meeting people where they're at. So adapting to the community we serve, it's very, very important. And within the community we serve, we have a high population of Spanish speakers. So for us to make our programming accessible, we prioritize offering our content. Right now we have it available in English and Spanish. Hopefully down the road we can have other languages in our programs. And we also take very seriously the importance of not just translating but adapting, right? Being as culturally responsible and responsive as possible so that we can truly honor our community and the gift of speaking another language. And that gift sometimes comes with very unique barriers. So it's important for us to name them by celebrating our clients that don't speak English as a second language, or we're in that journey, right? Like I feel like we're both in that journey. And it's important for us to feel supported, right? And to feel seen. And that's why we prioritize offering our programming in other languages, especially in Spanish.
Yeah. What makes someone capital ready and how Weave can help with that?
Well, when I think about being capital ready, I think about you being in the driver's seat. I think about being capital ready, meaning You understand how money works, you understand how the system works, and you are in control. You feel confident to advocate for yourself within the financial system, and you recognize, why do you need capital to begin with, right? What type of capital do you need? What type of capital is available out there? And for you to be as informed as possible, that is what gets you to feel capital ready. And of course, working on that confidence, that's important, and that ability to advocate for yourself and to know that you're not alone in that process. So for me, being capital ready means you being in that driver's seat and having financial professionals that can help you understand the system better, understand your options, right there supporting you in that journey. That's what capital ready means.
All right, this was Sarah and Kelly and from Beef, and we'll move forward. And next part will be with Nikki Parr, CEO of Beef. Nikki, thank you so much for being here today on my show, Backstage Business. I really appreciate it. And you're CEO of Beef, so the organization that stands for women's rights and empowering women. So my question would be, what is the biggest structural challenge for a woman nowadays to become financially independent?
I think a lot of the structural barriers are unfortunately similar to what they've always been, in terms of representation. There's still some challenges with women attaining equal pay, with women being taken seriously in the workplace and as business owners. And I think sometimes that leads into a lack of confidence overall, and that really is one of the biggest barriers that we see. It's not structural necessarily, but it's a cumulative effect of all these structural barriers. And confidence is absolutely imperative in moving ahead as a woman business owner.
Yeah, like we got treated very differently, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so I think for women to be financially independent or build a business by its own, it's more challenging than for men, unfortunately. And I'm very grateful that there's organizations like yours that actually helps us with the tools and support that you give.
Yeah.
So what separates the hobby from a real business, and how do a woman know that she's ready to start actually the business?
Yeah, it's such a good question, and it's so relevant to what we're doing here at Weave and the women that we see coming to us with ideas. The best example, I think, are things like food-related businesses. Somebody loves baking cookies or cupcakes, or they make the best granola that anybody's tasted, and they want to start a business doing that. I use cupcakes and cookies because it's easy to understand. You have to figure out how much you're going to have to earn the products that you want to sell. A hobby, you're doing it on your own time. It gives you lots of pleasure. Your life doesn't depend on it in terms of whether you're going to be able to make rent that month. And so making that transition from hobby to business comes a lot down to the financials. Often I think people don't anticipate what is going to be needed, and not just on 1 week. It's like week after week after week after week in order to afford your living. So yeah, being financially kind of aware and prepared, and then making the connection between that and your time are the two most important things. I think when you feel that you're ready to move forward with your business, it's because you're ready to make that commitment in terms of time and sacrifice, and you know what your output will have to be in order to be able to, afford your life.
Is it true that access to the capital is still the biggest challenge for women entrepreneurs, and what it really takes to get business ready for capital?
Yeah, I think a lot has changed actually in the last, I want to say 20, 25 years in terms of access to capital. And what we mean by that is being able to go and find a loan that someone is prepared to invest in you and invest in your business when you may not have the track record in that business. And traditionally, kind of the high street banks have not been the place to support what we call startup and expansion for small and micro businesses. But over the last 20, 25 years, a whole other industry has come up called CDFIs, which are community development financial institutions that have specifically targeted to supporting small and micro business owners in the community. And so their capital products are accessible, they're well priced, you're not going to get charged huge amounts of interest, which is what can happen with a lot of these online financing, online funding. You may get that money quickly, but it is going to be so expensive, and it could really, really set you back as a business owner. So I really recommend people go to CDFIs. There's a whole list that you can find easily. You can contact Weave. We provide that access as well. So all is not lost. I mean, I think, the capital is out there. It's just finding the organization that can help you connect the dots to get there. I think there's a much more awareness now about lending to women.
And do Weave help with that?
Weave doesn't provide the loan ourselves, but we provide the referral to a trusted partner, and that's as good as. Yeah.
So Weave helps businesses to get capital ready. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. It actually depends on how much money you're asking for from a lender. Sometimes they won't require a business plan anymore, which is really great. But the most important thing is a cash flow forecast. So again, coming back to the emphasis on financials, a lender will be looking at what your projections are, as well as making sure that you have your kind of personal financial records up to date, that you have a good understanding of your business opportunity, your market, who your customers are going to be. So all of these factors will go into determining what the lender will lend to you.
Yeah, and you help to prepare.
Oh yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah, well, because me myself, I finished Weave course set, which is smart entrepreneurial training, and it really helped me to start my business. I still come back to all set courses, and it really helped. And the business plan that we were taught how to do, it's really helping. So
I love hearing that, because I think often people will bypass doing a business plan because it does take time, and it makes you think deeply about what you're doing and why and how you're going to get there. And I think taking the time up front to go through that process, that can always be your North Star to come back to. And we have other clients that say the same thing. 5 years later, 10 years later, they will pull out that binder from their set course and be like, oh yeah, I remember.
A little bit talk about it, but how is the process of getting capital ready for businesses look like from your side? Like what you're providing, how are you helping, maybe about some courses?
It comes back to having a deep understanding of what you're trying to achieve with your business. What we do is we teach entrepreneurial skills. We will help you build your business plan, but as I said earlier, it's thinking through all the different aspects of how you want to run your business and why it's important, why you're going to be different to anybody else in the market. If you sort of fast forward to the lender's perspective, they want to know that you can repay the loan. And how do you do that? You do that through making a profit or making sales through your business. So they have to be able to see the cash coming into your business in order to repay that debt and make that investment in you. So really it's assuring a lender that you are a good, viable business owner. And I think Weave really helps prepare our clients in that way. We will walk alongside you and make sure that you have all the answers that you need when you're speaking to the potential lender, and that you feel that confidence going in, confidence around your numbers, so that when you're asked about it, you sound convincing.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that. This is huge for our community. Where do most women underestimate when it comes to build a business?
A lot of women start a business believing that it will give them a lot more flexibility in their lives, and I think to a degree that is true. You become your own boss and you manage your own time, and it's up to you when you work on the business, but you still have to work on the business, and you still have to put that time investment in. And I think often that is underestimated, and with a job, you'll clock off 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening or whatever, and may stop thinking about it. With your business, you tend to be thinking about it all the time and into the weekend and waking up early, and so it really is, it's always there. The flexibility comes at a little bit of a price.
What is the hardest thing about entrepreneurship that no one talks about?
I don't know, there's two things. There's time, and then there's the fact that you come across a lot of bumps in the road, right? You know, and
That's true.
yeah, I think that I'm going to go with the sort of the unforeseen challenges that are pretty relentless, actually. Certainly as you're getting going, but at any time. And I think just being able to keep pushing through those, not to take it as defeat, right? To recognize that there's going to be challenges and you have to keep going no matter what, because you believe in what you're doing.
Yes,
Yeah.
You talk with a lot of women. What is the most common challenges that is hard to overcome?
I think probably getting clients, getting customers. Yeah, just getting your name out there. You know, you can think that you've got a lead and some potential for sales, and then for whatever reason it doesn't happen, and you just have to keep on going.
I find that true, that finding clients is the hardest thing, and that's why my company, we help with that. For
Yeah.
example, we're
Yeah.
doing video marketing support for clients, and so if someone is interested, reach to us. AM Film will help you if you need some support to get new clients. You're CEO of Weave, and what is your secret tip or advice that you would like to share with others?
Self-belief is a really important one. And I think being able to trust in the experience that you've gained over the course of your life that has kind of led you to this point and led you to this moment, and then taking that and believing in yourself that you have what it takes to get through the next challenge and opportunity that comes. It sounds daunting, and it is daunting, and so I'm constantly reminding myself that I've got the skills and the experience, and to just trust in that, even though I may not know what's coming next or how to deal with what's coming next, just keep trusting in that belief. Yeah.
What mindset helps you navigate in your own leadership?
You know, in my own career, for example, I've had a number of different roles and experiences, both here in the States and in the UK. I've worked in some pretty diverse organizations and also types of industry. And at the time, I could never really understand how this was all going to fit together. But now when I look back, I see that it does all fit together, and that every experience that I've had has been relevant. I am also really strongly of the belief that the team have as much, if not more, to bring into the organization in terms of ideas and perspectives and how we should go about doing things. And so I feel that we have a very open culture. I hope that the team feel that too, but I really try and promote that shared ownership and responsibility for this organization.
When should business owners start to think as a CEO, and in terms working on the business, not in the business?
There comes a point where you need to start thinking strategically about the business. You're kind of getting out of running the everyday operations and doing the work into kind of lifting your head up, looking around and looking for what's next. Every business is different, right? So I don't know when the right time is. I think maybe it's just starting to understand this mindset of being strategic and looking ahead. And, you know, maybe it's even just taking one morning a week to give yourself that time to think about your business in that way. And then maybe work with an advisor or something. I mean, that's something that we do here at Weave often.
So in this economy and certain times, for women to make business successful and become empowered women, what it takes?
Well, I mean, it takes a lot of determination. It takes showing up. So I'd say, you know, really getting comfortable with numbers, but also getting comfortable with discipline around numbers. It doesn't sound very sexy, and it's kind of a little boring, but these are the foundations that work, and they, you know, they do. They've been proven to.
What changes in an economy where women will be financially empowered? I think it's like your big mission, it's in your logo, but how you feel how the world will look like?
Women invest more in their communities. And what's been really gratifying recently is seeing the growth of women's donor circles and the growth of women's philanthropy. up until this point, only 2% of philanthropic dollars have gone to women and girls organizations. So I think there's just this cycle that we're starting to see of women becoming more financially empowered. There's going to be something called the Great Wealth Transfer as baby boomers start transferring their assets to the next generation. That's going to create an enormous amount of inherited wealth for women. And the fact that we will hopefully see that then get invested back into the communities, I think is really exciting. We want to make the world a better place for everybody. And I think women's investment will do that.
So our Studio AM Film, in our show, we're doing a promo video for our guests, and I want to share a little bit what we do. So we do not just videos, but we do marketing research on the niche, on the products that certain businesses sell. And in your case, we took your 3 courses and we work on 3 different niches, and we prepared a promo video. So, are you ready to see it?
Yes.
Okay.
See it.
Actually, it was real clients of Veev, so these are real people and real businesses and real people who take the courses, which I found really, really beautiful. All right,
Yeah.
Let's see it.
I didn't control my money, but money controlled me.
I had ideas and skills, but no direction.
I had a business, but was stuck.
I knew something had to change.
I needed a plan.
And I needed real guidance.
At Weave, we've gained tools.
Clarity.
And confidence.
With financial empowerment, I learned how to take control of my money.
Smart entrepreneurial training helped me turn my skills into a real business.
Business consulting gave me clarity and direction.
Different challenges,
One community.
Weave, empowering women.
Wow. Tears. That is fabulous. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
I'm glad you liked it.
Wow.
As I said, we do a little market research, and we do those products, and it's not only the one video, we also provide little marketing strategy, how to promote it, and also a bunch of shortcuts for your social media that you can use in your promotion of your business.
Wow.
Okay, and here in our show we have this game which is called Backstage Business Game. So basically we did this promo video for you, and the game is that we have these 2 cards. On one of them it's AM Film, and on another it could be market price or it can be free. So, and it's just a blind game.
Yeah.
So would you like to play it and try your luck?
Yes.
All right. Let's do this.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you gonna like switch them around?
Shift.
Okay. Right. Ah! Any donors want to step in? Well, thank you.
Financial empowerment.
I'll check our savings account. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna Maria. Oh, fantastic. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Today we went backstage Veev and discovered that women empowerment isn't just about motivation. It's about access to knowledge, capital, and community. Because no founder builds a sustainable business alone. The real growth starts when knowledge meets community, and when one woman supports another woman. And if you would like a special discount for smart entrepreneurial training from Veev, please make a comment below "set" and we'll choose the winner. If you are serious about starting a real business, not a hobby, then subscribe to Backstage Business to learn from CEOs about strategies, tools, and mindsets that really work. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Then like, subscribe, and share this video. And I'll see you in the next one.